Welcome back to Call of Warhammer, Beginning of the End Times. I'm IndiePride, and this evening I'll be playing as the Wood Elves of Athel Loren. Up front, a group of wild riders, dangerous cavalry who serve as Orion's personal bodyguard. Behind them, the Dryads, a howling, screaming manifestation of the forest's wrath. They often take the form of elven maidens, but will quickly fall upon those who defile their sacred glades with a gleeful violence. Also brought 2 units of Treekin. These are the spirits that can bind themselves to trees and vines, forming horrific parodies of men who crush all those who oppose them. Also got Treemen, which are ancient and benevolent spirits, revered by elf and forest creature alike who cherish all lesser creatures. But in times of war, they will rise up and savagely attack those who threaten the Wildwood. Wildwood Rangers there as well, and moving up now, 4 units of Wardancers, servants of the elf god of dance and laughter. Wardancers are the storytellers and lore keepers of Wood Elves, but on the battlefield they are quick and deadly warriors. The bulk of the Wood Elf forces are formed by the Glade Guard, massed archers with pinpoint accuracy and long range, capable of piercing heavy armor, and also brought some Eternal Guard, the nobles of Athel Loren who form the retinue of elf lords who protect the glades during the frozen winter months. Also brought some Glade Riders and some more Wild Riders in the back. That will round out my army. Let's get into the replay. So the Wood Elves of Athel Loren, the Azrai as they call themselves, are pretty interesting in this mod. They do have some pretty decent ranged options, but the majority of your killing power is going to come from the Wildwood Rangers and the tree units. Dryads and Treekin pack quite a punch and are pretty tanky, but from what I've played with them so far, they need to be utilized on the flanks to help win cav fights, generally speaking. So this battle, I'm going to be trying to harass the Cold Ones down with my Glade Riders at the beginning, try to soften them up so my Treekin and Treemen can wreck them once they enter melee. Looking at the Dark Elf army commanded by Vod Gojira, he's got 4 Dark Shard Repeater Crossbows, a lot of Bleakswords, some Ganeth Executioners, and of course the Cold One Knights out on the flanks. I believe he has 4 of those, meaning he's going to have a very distinct cavalry advantage in this game. Some Dark Shard Repeater Crossbows as well. I think he has 2 of those. Those are the cavalry units. They're going to be kind of hard for my Glade Riders to deal with. So I do outrange them, but I am going to make a mistake. I have 2 of these Glade Rider units shooting into the 1 Dark Shard unit. And the mistake I'm going to make is that I outnumber them, so I expect to just be able to wreck them in a skirmish battle. But actually, I'm going to allow his Dark Shards to get into range, and those Repeater Crossbows are going to start tearing apart my very lightly armored Glade Riders. So I should have definitely been keeping my range here. I think that they do outrange the Dark Shards by a little bit. I'm not sure what the range difference is. There's no rangefinder in Call of Warhammer or Medieval 2. But you can see the Dark Shards are actually doing quite a bit of damage to my Glade Riders, and what I was hoping to do at the beginning of this battle was to just skirmish down those Cold Ones a bit, get rid of some of their HP before they ever enter melee. But right now those Dark Shards are actually doing a lot more damage than I expected them to. So the rest of the Dark Elf army is going to start moving up now. Bleakswords, Dark Shard, dismounted crossbows moving up, and also got some of these Shades, kind of assassin units that are also using the Repeater Crossbows, Ganeth Executioners over there, and then a lot more infantry. So Gojira is going to be just bum rushing, basically. He does have some skirmish power with the crossbow units, but he does at the very least outnumber me in the melee engagement, so I'm going to want to use my superior range on the Glade Guard and on the Glade Riders to hopefully lower the Dark Elf numbers before they enter melee. Now the Wood Elf's biggest weakness currently in this mod is definitely in their cavalry department. The Wild Riders have good melee stats, but only 1 HP and less than half of the men that most cavalry units in the game get. So they have about 22 in a unit, I think, and Cold Ones have 46 on this unit size. So I think that they might also have issues dropping their lances on the charge. So basically you're always going to be at a disadvantage in the cavalry engagement, which of course is a problem in a mod based off Medieval 2. If you have a cavalry disadvantage, it's going to make winning games kind of hard. I do think the Wood Elves have a lot of tools. Certainly their ranged units are pretty good, and so my job here is just going to be skirmish at the beginning, use those Glade Guard to their fullest potential, get some good shots off on his Bleakswords, whittle their numbers down before he gets in the melee, and then the Treekin and the Treemen and the Dryads can pack that punch for me and do the damage. Now, the infantry for the Wood Elves are good too. The Wardancers specifically have some really cool animations I'll make sure that you guys get to watch, but they're also very low in number. They're 2 HP, but they only have 45 men in the unit. They have fast attack animations, but again, they are very low in numbers, so they can easily get outflanked, surrounded, charged in the back by cavalry, that sort of thing. So it's going to be up to my tree units to do the blocking of charges. I can't be letting, obviously, my skirmishers get charged by cav. Certainly can't be letting my infantry units get charged by cav, because I think I only have one spear unit on the field as well, which would be the Eternal Guard. So gonna have to be using my Wild Riders and my tree units very effectively to block charges, tie stuff down, and hopefully cut down those Cold Ones. Now, Cold Ones in this mod still have trouble dropping their lances, and now the engagement is about to start, and my Eternal Guard are gonna charge in there into the front of the Bleakswords. Nice little charge there. They should be able to wrap up that engagement pretty easily. Wild Rangers going in, and my Wild Riders on this side are going to go in and try to block the charge of the Ganeth Executioners. They didn't drop their lances, though. I don't even know if they can drop their lances in this mod, but it means that their charge bonus isn't as effective. Gojir is going to do a very good job overlapping on that Wild Rider. It's going to die in seconds there. On this side, more Wild Riders going in. Going to try to tie down his crossbow cavalry, and my Treekin and my tree men are going to charge in and going to try to shut down the Cold One Knight's attack over on this side. This will be a long and bloody engagement. Let's focus on something else, because that will be going on for a long time. This is a big mistake. Gojir did a good job here getting his Cold One Knights around the flank. Didn't drop their lances on the charge, because Call of Warhammer is buggy like that. The Cold Ones didn't get fixed in the Call of Warhammer mod, so they still have trouble with that, and that means that he's not going to get a great charge off of my crossbows, but still going to lose a lot of archers there, and I need to kill those Cold Ones. Wardancers here against some of the Ganeth Executioners. You can see them doing those backflips. They have some really cool animations. I'll make sure you guys get to see more of that soon. And then over on this side, Tree Men going to be killing a lot of these Cold Ones, and the Treekin going to be doing pretty well, but I think Cold One Knights have 2 HP in this mod, so they're pretty tanky. Not going to go down super easy. I did notice that his Dark Shards in the back here were unsupported, so I'm going to charge after them with my Wardancers, try to silence those skirmishers, and I broke his left flank, so I'm going to try to roll down this flank. See the Dryads causing a lot of fear penalties. Going to route some more of these Bleakswords, and I'm going to be able to wrap and keep going down, keep getting rear charges off, hopefully wrap up this infantry engagement very quickly. But my left flank is going much poorer. The Cold Ones have broken a lot of my units over there. They are messing up my skirmishers in the back lines, and his Ganeth Executioners are going to beat my Wardancers eventually. So I'm going to have to wrap up this engagement as quickly as I possibly can, keep getting those rear charges off. But the Dryads, every time they get a rear charge off, they're causing units to rout, which is a big deal. So Wardancers in the back here have tied down some of his Dark Shards. It's very good for me. Wood Elves have very low armor, so I can't be letting those repeater crossbows shoot into my infantry line, or I'll be dying very quickly. But there are a lot of Dark Shards over here, and only one unit of 45 Wardancers, so they can be doing backflips and spin kicks all they want. They're not going to be able to cut through those crossbows that easily. They're just too low in number. So I've lost one bow unit here. Cold One's going to be charging into some of my other Glade Guard, and I'm having trouble killing them. I'm focus firing on the Cold Ones in the back there, but having a lot of trouble killing them. Wildwood Rangers are low in number at this point, but I have killed a lot of the Dark Elf infantry, but he is wrapping up the right flank here, and he is killing a lot of my men. And basically, this is just the problem with not leaving reserves. I was way too hasty with my unit of Treekin on the main line in the center. I committed them to melee, and that's allowed these Cold Ones to get into the back of my army and start causing a lot of havoc. And I'm shooting into them, but I'm really not killing them fast enough. They've got high armor, they've got 2 HP, not doing enough damage there. My Dryads are going to get charged from the flank by these Cold Ones, and those ones actually drop their lances on the charge. I am going to silence some more of these crossbow units. My Dryads should have no problem cutting through those Dark Shards. But again, it's a numbers game at this point. I'm starting to lose a lot of my guys, and he has the cavalry advantage, which in late game situations is awful, because even my Treekin and my Dryads are not going to be able to sustain against repeated charges from Cold One Knights when they drop their lances. So things are definitely starting to look kind of bad for me. My tree men are wrecking those shades over on that side, but my line's definitely getting thinned out, and more Cold One charges into my skirmishers means that I'm losing a lot of my range superiority. Again, shooting into the Cold Ones here, just not doing enough damage. You saw an entire volley come in there. None of the Cold Ones died, and my general's going to go down. General actually looks like William Wallace for the Wood Elves right now. I'm sure that's just a placeholder, but it is kind of funny. Looks like a Scotsman, a Highlander. It's kind of strange. It looks nothing like a Wood Elf or a Wood Elf Lord. But regardless, he's going to go down. Wood Elves don't really have morale problems, so it's whatever at this point. But my skirmishers are still going to run from the field. They would have run from the field regardless of whether my general was still alive. They don't want to deal with raptors getting torn apart in melee by those. So they're going to run away, and my Dryads have finished off these crossbows over here. My Wardancers are going to go down, just a handful of them left, trying to cut through as many as they can. I was surprised, actually, at how well his crossbow units did in melee. I think the low numbers of the Wardancers certainly an issue for them, because when they're fighting two full units, they kind of just get stun locked by all those guys surrounding them. So, look at that. Oh, baby. Spin kick right in the face. And going to stab him on the ground. That animation is sweet. I have no idea how they added that. I've seen a couple of animations in Call of Warhammer that were special. I know the assassins on the Dark Elf roster can also do backflips, but I've never seen that animation before. That was really cool to see that spin kick and the stab at the end there. But that Wardancer is going to go down as well, surrounded, and that unit's going to get wiped off the field. So at this point, things are looking real dire for me. Only a couple of units of Treekin left, and those tree men, which are now going to charge into these melee units over here. They are the crossbow units. And the interesting thing, one thing that I don't know if they can fix it very easily, but you see all that charge bonus there. The charge animation where they run through units, they actually don't get kills on it. And that's not true for every unit, but I've noticed it in Call of Warhammer 1.6 on the giant units as well. Remember the video I did with Jackie Fish, where the giant tried to kill my Bright Wizards and ran through the unit, tossed them up into the air, but didn't actually kill anybody? Well, that happened right there. I actually didn't get any kills on his Dark Shards, and didn't get any kills on his Ganeth Executioners, which sucks. So basically, the only time they get kills is when they're doing their melee animations, which are pretty slow. They don't do them that often. So I'm going to keep trying to cycle charge, keep trying to get kills. Basically, every time I try to pull through a unit, they're going to toss a lot of guys up in the air, but they're not really getting any kills. All of these dudes are about to get back up again. So that was a little bit frustrating. It doesn't matter at this point. Unless the tree can just go off and basically drop a nuke on the Dark Elf army, it's going to be really hard for me to win this battle. They're going to be stomping around. They are going to get their kick animation, which does kill people occasionally. I think they should be doing that pretty soon here. But it's a numbers game. The Dark Elves have just completely surrounded what's left of my army, and these poor benevolent spirits are not going to be able to carry this battle for me. There's just too much left on the field for the Dark Elves. So yeah, again, I saw that juicy target right there. Look at his flanks turned. Wanted to just charge through the whole formation there. And they're going to do it. They're going to charge through. You keep swinging their arms. Keep getting that charge off. And it's going to kill a grand total of 0. I think the only kill there was from friendly fire from the Dark Shards. So that's something that, yeah, I want Tom do for someone else if they have time to maybe work out. See, when they do that kick animation, they kill stuff. But yeah, one of my tree men is going to go down. And honestly, they did make a pretty big impact on the battle. I think they actually killed a decent amount of cold ones, which was important. They tied down that entire blob over on my right flank for a very long time. But the biggest problem I had this battle was that I just let the cold ones on his right flank, my left flank, just get in pretty much unscathed. I didn't have anything in reserve to tie them down, any spear units or anything to really shut down that cold one attack, and basically I just allowed his cold ones free reign in the back to charge my skirmishers, which is not a good way to win a battle if you're playing as the Wood Elves. So good play from Gojira there, good use of Cold One Knights. Not the best cavalry in Call of Warhammer simply because they have that lance bug, but certainly very good melee stats, very high armor, and enough to shut down my skirmishers there. So it was a relatively even fight. I brought less men. We killed about the same amount. I think he maybe got 100 more kills than I did. But yeah, the tree men got 86 kills, I believe. Other than that, my units really kind of performed poorly. I did a good job on the main engagement, getting rear charges off with the Dryads, causing some fear there. And I did get a decent amount of kills overall, but none of my units really stood head and shoulders above the rest. Didn't get that many kills. None of them broke, wow, English is hard, broke 100 kills. And it was kind of a tough battle, but good game to Gojira. Wood Elves are a lot of fun to play. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. See you all later.